We're at the Sansport Racers Club Summer Nationals for round 3 of the 2015 MSA British Drag Racing Championship, featuring the Pro Mods. We've got 10 cars entered for an 8-car field this weekend, with a welcome return for Bobby Wallace. And as we go into this round, it's Kev Slyfield leading the points table.
Yeah, we're very pleased with that. Yeah, it's long may it last. I don't know how long it will last, but yeah, it's very pleased. We've still got a little bit more in it. We've been very pleased with our 4-0 the main event, but there was on the data logger it still showed us a little bit more there. So yeah, we always want to go faster.
So as we move into the first session of Saturday's 3 scheduled qualifying sessions, the first car out is going to be Chris Isaacs, who it has to be said has struggled with tyre shakes so far all this season. Now the whole team have put in some testing as well, trying to get this car figured out. When it hooks and goes, it will be one of, if not the quickest car in the whole class. But it's the if part, it's getting it all down and getting it all down the racetrack as well. So, what a shame for Chris and the team. Great launch, but just drifted out the groove slightly and more tyre shake. Goes through the 7.0 at 2:10. Next side-by-side burnouts, 2 nitrous cars. Near side of the track, Roger Moore with the Viper ran a PB back at the main event. Unfortunately, Bobby Wallace on the far side of the racetrack, there he is with a nitrous Willis, didn't even make the event. Engine damage after Easter put them out. Freshly rebuilt back at the racetrack for the first time. This is going to be an easy pass to make sure everything works, I should think. But not so for Roger Moore. First time ever in the 6.3s, a new personal best, 6:39.214. Next side-by-side burnouts, and a great show as well. Jean de Le Mans, far side the racetrack. All the way from the southwest of France. Massive cubic inch motor in there. Up against Bert Engelfield. Bert all over the place. Oh, it looked like he was going to collect the wall, but no, he actually gets back on it again on the other side of the racetrack. What an opening pass for Jean de Le Mans. There you go, 6:46, Bert 8:26. So your last pair, going to be Rick Garrett up against Kev Slyfield, who we heard from earlier, your points leader in MSA Pro Mod. Won at Easter, got through to round 2 at the main event. Rick Garrett with another nice, strong, consistent launch. Problems for Kev on this one. He shuts it off early. 6:36.216 for Rick Garrett. So, back in the pits, this is Mick Payne, who's returning to the class after a few years' absence, but not making it out in session 1. And it looks like major rebuilding work also for Andy Robinson after engine damage in yesterday's test session. And I don't think Andy's car will be back together in time even for session number 2. But plenty to celebrate for other drivers, with great runs for some and a great personal best for Roger Moore.
It's brilliant, yeah. It's always good to get a good number on the board early in qualifying. It makes it a bit more relaxing, and very pleased indeed.
And it's great to see Jean de Le Mans finally getting some consistency in the car. After all those years trying, he's got to be feeling happy.
I am very happy for me and my equipe, because more work for arrive of this time, because many problems before 3 years, and I think a good time along the weekend.
Well, he's putting down personal best after personal best. We're into session 2. First outing today for Wayne Nicholson with the Lucky Devil. Nice launch off the throttle a little bit and back on it again, all the way through the 7:42.194. Good to see Wayne through the top end pulling the chutes. Kev Slyfield up next. Another pedal job due to tyre shake. Still legs it out, nasty smoke at the top end though, 6:92.211. Next pair going to be Bert Engelfield against Bobby Wallace. Bobby Wallace with problems as he goes into stage. And the car quits a couple of 100 foot out. Bert goes all the way through with a 7:03.160. A little bit off pace for that team. Chris Isaacs against Jean de Le Mans. Chris had a nice, consistent race car last summer. Let's see if they found it again against Jean de Le Mans, who's been running personal best after personal best. Looks like a strong run this time for Chris. Shoots out way before the finish line, goes 6.60 as Jean Delemont goes block hunting. Well, the last pair out in session 2 are traditionally the quickest from the first session. That will be Roger Moore against Rick Garrett. Both of these guys down in the 6.3s. How cool is it to see two nitrous cars at the top of the charts for MSA Pro Mod? Storming launches for both. Roger a little bit out of shape, but that doesn't stop him at all. Great side-by-side run, 6.39 to 6.48. No improvement, sadly, for either. So has Chris Isaac solved his tyre shake problem?
We've been thinking that we've been getting weak shake where we haven't got enough power, and we've been in a lot of different areas in wheel speed and we were still getting shake. But that run we took a bunch of timing out from 2/10 of a second out and just ramped it slowly back in, and we didn't get any shake at all. So we just turn it around for the next one exactly the same. I managed to make a bit of an error at the top end of the track, and we've got a push button operated parachute system with a lever as a backup, and when I shift into top gear I put my other hand back on the steering wheel and then get my thumb somewhere near the button, and I got it a bit too close, which is why the chutes came out at about 1,000 foot. So I think we were less than 100th off our PB, but about 30 mile an hour down. So we're just going to leave everything alone and go out there and try and repeat and see if we can run the full quarter this time.
Well, we had a bit of a disaster in testing yesterday, unfortunately. We made one run, 6.29, which is a good number on that track, but unfortunately we kicked a rod out. So we've had to go back home, get the motor that we took out at the main event, build it all back up and put it in last night. And we've also had a bit of a problem with the blower. A bit of debris has come up and got jammed in between the rotors, so we've had to try our best to make it good, and hopefully it will hold up for the next session.
So presumably if this is the motor that you took out at the main event, you weren't 100% with that one, were you?
We weren't, but to be fair, we've put new piston rings in it. We've checked, measured all the clearances and everything, and it's okay. It's not the best motor, but it will be okay.
So what happens? Should be out this time?
Yeah, we're aiming to be out. I mean, it's a one-shot deal now, so we've got to make a run. If we don't make it, we're out. So, and that's our championship done.
So as we go into the final session, Andy Robinson has made it to the track. The bump spot currently standing at 7.54, so he really needs to put in a 6-second run to be safe. No holding back on the burnout from Andy as usual. Up against Bert Englefield. Now Andy with a lot of tyre shake off the line. Normally he'd click it off, but this time legs it all the way through. Oh, best numbers of the weekend for both. 6.42 personal best though for Bert Englefield. Cracking run. Yeah, with that run, Andy Robinson does make it in. So next pair, Bobby Wallace against Kev Slyfield. Kev looking to put down a number. Hasn't really been anywhere close to what he ran at the main event so far. And Bobby Wallace needs to put down a decent elapsed time to get in the field. Well, Kev goes all the way towards the top, 6.42.22. Huge smoke at the top end. And Bobby gets in the field as well. So, Jean Delemont, far side the racetrack, against Chris Isaacs. Now, Chris said they're going to leave everything alone. Let's see what it does this time round. That has to be the most maddening thing in the world. If they left everything alone, shake, spin, all over the place, and he's out of it. 6.64 for Jean. Nice, consistent run. This time round without any orange blocks attached to the front of the car as well. So, last pair, Rick Garrett, Roger Moore. The field is set. Unfortunately, Wayne Nicholson not going to make it into the show. All this is for position on race day. These two will probably end up number 1 and 2 again. Rick Garrett clicks it off early. Roger goes 7.43. Nicely done.
It's going pretty well. Track's got a little bit tricky now. It's very, very hot out there, but we're pleased with it. It's going well.
It seems to be doing those times consistently as well now.
I'm thinking of putting it in a bracket class. But yeah, I mean, we're chasing the 20s now, which they're there, you know. Just got to, I don't think we're going to hit it this weekend though, unfortunately.
So it's Mick Payne along with Wayne Nicholson, who didn't make it into the field.
Just had like the usual teething problems, you know. We've had to go through all the new stuff we got on the car. We got a lot of new systems, transmission, engine, supercharger. So it's just a matter of checking really. And there's a few things what have caught us out because, you know, we haven't been here for a long time, so you forget a little bit But we're working through the stuff, and we're pretty confident that once we get out of the run, we're going to be back to where we used to be, and hopefully start moving forward because we've got a lot better equipment.
But that pedalling run from Andy Robinson got the job done.
Yeah, obviously I had to make sure I was in the field, and we probably put a little bit too much in it. And the track at this time of night is, it's sticky. But yeah, in the field, we're very happy. Well, tomorrow morning is obviously the track's going to be a little cooler, and that's nice. It doesn't get so slick, so we'll take a view. But the more important for us was making sure everything was good, and the engine's back together again, and it's all fine. We're just running through the checks now. The crew are doing a great job. So tomorrow we'll take a view in the morning. When the track temperature gets over about 129 Fahrenheit, it is an issue, and it becomes very sort of slick and sticky, and it is definitely a skill. And obviously, in this country, sometimes we don't see that very often. But on days like summer days like today, when it's great and it's beautifully warm, then we do suffer a little bit towards the end of the afternoon normally.
So here are the first round matchups, and Sunday did turn out a whole lot cooler than Saturday, with rain first thing thrown in for good measure. So all the drivers getting suited up for the round 1 confrontations. They've been sitting around. This was early afternoon that we got underway. First pair going to be Jean Delemont against Bert Englefield. Now both of these guys have set their personal best so far this year. Bert Englefield did it in qualifying yesterday. 6:42, quickest that coupe has ever run. Jean Delemont went 6.30 back at the main event. He qualified very well again this weekend in the 6.4, so this really is a pick-em race. Must be nice for Jean to go to the start line with a good chance of winning for once, instead of wiring the car holding together. It's Bert out first by a bunch. Jean Delemont's not letting him get away with it though. It is Bert with another personal best by a huge margin. 6.34, 2.24. Lose out for Jean at 6.38. So another match-up, and every single pair in these round 1 confrontations is going to be very, very close indeed. Kev Slyfield went 6.40. Chris Isaacs went 6.60, but that was shutting off early, so this could well be closer than their qualified times would lead you to believe. Looks like Chris got the jump, a bit of a pedal close to the centre line. He manages to stay on it, but it's Kev out front with a 6.42, 2.21. Nice run though for Chris Isaacs with a 6.7 lose out. Battle of the orange cars. In our next pair, you can see Andy Robinson doesn't take it any easier on the burnouts, even though he's had engine trouble all weekend, but as he'll tell you, it doesn't really hurt the motor that much, and plus it does tend to warm everything up really, really nicely for the run. Now, Roger Moore, qualified number 2, personal best this weekend. You wouldn't normally expect to get Andy Robinson in round 1, but here we are due to Andy's qualifying problems. Great side-by-side, both together very, very evenly down the racetrack, but it is the Camaro that pulls it out at the top end. Big speed as well, 6.21, 2.32. Roger sadly goes out with a 6.46. So last match-up is a battle of the Willis Coupes. Rick Garrett and Bobby Wallace. So if the team have got the car back together and on song, this will be very, very close indeed. Rick Garrett, number 1 qualifier, that first session run, and personal best as well. Stop me if you've heard this before. Bobby Wallace goes before the tree runs, and Rick Garrett with problems. He was there for the taking. Limps through with a 7.34, but he gets the round win. That's the thing. So some really close matchups to look forward to in the semis.
Okay, well, you've been running 6.30s. You've got a 6.30 opponent coming up in the semi-final, but you had a problem that last one, so any ideas why and what you're going to do about it?
Yeah, the carburettor's bogged up for some reason. I think it was after a little bit of engine damage yesterday, so we've put that right, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get back into the 30s again.
Yeah, I mean, we run well at Easter, we ran the 53. We tried a few things at the main event that didn't work. The first run yesterday didn't work, and now we got the clutch right. So we run the 42. We didn't think it'd run a 34. We thought it'd run a 38 or a 39. So
how do you think you're doing on the tree? What are your actions like?
Usually pretty good. It's a bit slow at the moment this weekend, but anything can happen. It's pro mod.
It will depend on the lights. Yeah, definitely. I think Bert ran a 6:34 last run. We had quite a poor run, so but hopefully we'll get it back.
And Rick will be facing Bert in the first of our 2 semi-finals coming up now. So again, on paper, both of these guys have run in the 6.3s. Neither of them had been there before the start of this season, but both of them very, very consistent now. Both got it together very well indeed this weekend. Rick Garrett and his son's doing a great job with that Willis. Bert Englefield with the supercharged coupe. That car's never run quicker and faster. Rick Garrett goes red on the tree. Bert has problems and shuts off early, so it is him going into the final, and Rick Garrett red lights himself out of contention. Other side of the ladder, this is going to be a great matchup. Andy Robinson, the only car so far this weekend in the 6.2s, up against Kev Slyfield, very consistently now in the 6.4s. Went 6.40 in qualifying, 6.42 in round 1. Both of these cars built by Andy Robinson, would you believe? This for a place against Bert Englefield. Almost dead even off the line. Andy Robinson with tyre shake problems again, but gets back on the throttle. Can he catch Kev? The answer is not quite. 6.44 to 6.52. You can see Andy Robinson had the faster speed, but it is Kev Slyfield. So as we wait for the finals, there's lots more racing to watch on track, and that's Box Lane's Barney John entertaining the crowd as he films a track shot along the quarter mile. So final time, and both cars have made it down the far up road. This is a rematch of our Easter final, which unfortunately due to engine damage Bert Englefield wasn't able to take part in. Kev Slyfield took a run on his own, just trickled the car through to get the points, the round win. This time round it's going to be a full-on race. Pick your favourite black car, shiny or matte black. I love them both, to be honest with you. I can't pick between them. They are really, really cool. Also very unique in the world of Pro Mod. Can't remember the last time I saw one of those in Pro Modified, or a Thunderbird as well. Kev Slyfield, by the looks of it, gets the jump off the start line. Little bit of shake, but legs it all the way through to another event win. 6.53 to 6.55. Great final round race. Pro Mods this weekend have been incredible.
Yeah, we're very pleased with that. It's another win under our belt. It's more than we could hope for.
So you must feel that the car you're really getting in tune with it now, I think, because obviously last year it was very much getting to learn it, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a new car last year and we did struggle a little bit, and we struggled a little bit at the beginning of this year, to be fair. We had oil pressure problems, but we've solved that problem, and yeah, we're confident now we can go out and do some rounds.
We saw on a few runs quite a lot of smoke coming off. That wasn't anything major then in the end?
No, we had a problem with one of the heads. It basically, a small part in the head failed and allowed oil into the intake valve. So it just basically sucked oil in and blew it out the exhaust.
As we look at the points so far, it's still Kev out in the lead, so be sure to join us for round 4 at the Mopar Euro Nationals here at Santa Pod at the end of July.